Okay, we're live. What's up? Thanks for coming around. It's gonna be a fun live stream, hopefully. What's up, Duran? Thank you so much for being here, man. Really appreciate it. Yeah, so today we're gonna be talking about reading and reading habits. Let me know as always if you can hear me okay. Hope the microphone is not too far away. That should be fine. Fine. Yeah, so today we're gonna be talking about reading habits and that kind of stuff. You know, like some things that we can do to improve our relationship to reading, both so that we can, make the most out of reading, and also to make it an enjoyable experience that is not, it doesn't feel like homework, it doesn't feel like school work, which of course can get tedious and annoying. So yeah, let me just check a little thing with my volume. Let me know if the music is okay. It's hard for me to tell exactly if it's too loud or not. I think I'm gonna leave it there, but yeah, let me know just in case. As always, just feel free to let me know if volume is not perfect or anything. That should be fun. Cool. So, on the previous one of the previous live streams, we did a little warm up just to get in the mood of a good live stream. We did a little try not to laugh, funny videos. So I don't know if that's gonna be tradition, but I think I'm gonna go for it right now because I also need to record this YouTube video. It always helps me to be kind of like on a good mood to make these videos, and watching funny videos always helps. So yeah, let's get to it. Why not? Scene 2. Okay. Let's see what's up.
Try not to laugh. Don't miss the best funny video for your day. Life awesome. Laugh.
Okay, I don't know why the text-to-speech started reading that. Either way, here we go.
Oh my god!
Have you done something like this? Like that? Like the rope thingy? What? You destroyed the whole thing? Oh, no way! Okay, I thought he landed. I thought he landed back into the boat thingy. That was crazy. Oh no. I have one of those. Well, it's borrowed from my stepbrother. Like he has one of those, and I used to have one. But right now I'm trying to get a new one, a pull-up bar that goes in the door frame, and this one is very loose. Not this guy, it's frozen, but either way, you get the idea. Oh no, why did it freeze there? Either way, yeah, that's very... I think that kind of stuff is very easy to happen. Wait, something happened with the internet. Are we still even streaming? Yeah, okay, we should be fine. Yeah, this one. So this pull-up bars, have the same setup, but it's not very tight. So that could happen any second. That was good. Oh no. Oh man, those wigs must be expensive, man. Oh, that's such a shame. Yeah, though, YouTube didn't know to start when you did. You mean the live stream? That's kind of weird. Either way, guys, check out the poll for sure. There's a poll right now on how much do you read. Right now we have 50-50 on I wish I read more and a lot. So it's really interesting. Let's see what people keep saying with that. By the way, feel free to ask any questions regarding reading or stuff like that. Just getting, warming up with some funny videos. So let's keep going a little. Oh no, that's definitely happened to me. Oh no, that's hard. Yeah, that's definitely the reaction. That's definitely the reaction when you fall. You just want to know if someone filmed it. Oh! Oh man, I want to try that. That looks fun. no, what happened? That's a good one. Oh. No! What? What happened? That was so weird.
Looks like Cherry, but
Gotta get the microphone closer.
that was a wonky one. You okay? You alright? I'm fine. I was worried it was gonna land on you. I thought you meant.
Oh no!
1, 2, 3. Ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
They can't.
That one reminds me of the meme of Homer Simpson just fading out into the bushes. Yeah, this is the one. It's a GIF. It's a good one. Oh man, I don't know why my internet's so slow today. I don't know what's up. But yeah, either way, Homer fades. Yeah, there he goes. That was funny. I tell you, man. I tell you, little kids are the funniest thing. Try not to laugh. I did the exact same thing last time. Try not to laugh. Baby compilation. Yeah, it's just good, man. Which ones I haven't seen? Let's take a look at this one for a sec.
So, who got into the lipstick?
Not me.
Oh man. Oh, like when you're in class, man, it's horrible to fall asleep in class. Oh, this is so cool. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Oh no.
Ready? Ready? Catch it. Here we go. Catch.
Again, say Merry Christmas.
Mel Gibson.
What?
Charlie, are you eating
Such a classic. That's such a classic kid fall. They're just so disproportionate. It's hilarious.
Good. Would you like a bite of my vegetables?
That's so funny. I really enjoy that one. Okay, either way. Okay, I think I warmed up. I got myself in a good mood. We can start with today's live stream. For real. Cool. Okay, so I wanted to talk about, reading and just like the book habits that help us do better. Like I want to talk about like what are the habits, what are the things that we can avoid, mistakes, as well as like, little things that can help us, do better at reading and making the most out of it, Those was try not to laugh. Yeah, they're definitely those. They're good, man. They warm me up for the live stream, man. I'm trying to watch more funny stuff before I start recording videos. Just because it's a lot easier to record videos when you're kind of in a good mood. And even though it's a kind of an artificial way to get yourself in a good mood, laughing is definitely useful. But yeah, either way. Okay, so back to the topic of the live stream. Yeah, so like things that we do for reading, right? I have some ideas here organized on this really cool app that I'm exploring called Spear. I'm really enjoying it. It's super helpful. So yeah, I'm making a video. I'm drafting a video for this week's upload for YouTube. And I want to kind of capture some of the points that I'm gonna cover. I do plan to record it straight after this live stream, so if you guys have any ideas or any things that you would like me to discuss, maybe struggles that you might have, let me know. So here I can share with you, I can show you. The cool thing about this app is that you can organize everything in like a Kanban board. So in these boards, and you can move things around. Here are possible titles for the video that I'm making, and here are the main points, as well as some additional things that I might like to discuss. But either way, like the cool thing about Spear right here, what I'm doing is that you can move things around and it just moves along, right? And what's really cool is that you can look at things in a doc view, and now you can see the structure as if it was like a Word document or something like that. So here are the points. I'm gonna start covering them. However, feel free to contribute at any point. Let me know if you have any questions about any specific points. Anything that you struggle with in particular, feel free to let me know. I might add more things to this video script. So yeah, happy to hear your thoughts on this. Turan says this is not an app that I've heard of before. It's really cool. I do plan to make a video on it in the future. We'll see. But yeah, no, it's a really exciting app for, very useful for like scripts, maybe presentations that you might have. Even kind of writing a blog post, I think is quite a fun experience. Like the whole idea of it is that you can actually, like, I don't know, let's say that I want to add a point to a section up here. I just drag this right here. There we go. And now I can start writing. Let me just zoom in a little. Start writing. And that takes you up here to that specific point, right? So there you go. And then you can rearrange things. And the way that you rearrange is going to be reflected on the doc view. So it's really cool. It's really fun to relic this. Let me just turn on my, what is it called? Key presses. It's just a way in which I can show the mouse with a highlight. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, cool. Yeah, it just makes it easier for you to see where the mouse is at. Otherwise, sometimes it's easy to lose it. Okay, so first concept, right? When it comes to building a better reading habit, I think one of the common things that we fall into, let me close this as well, is falling into comparison games, right? So some of the ideas that I have in here is like, whenever we want to read more, we might look at a YouTuber, a famous person. You can think of Bill Gates that always talks about how he reads a lot. If we just search like, how much does Bill Gates read, right? I'm sure we'll get something absurd, right? Okay, he reads about 50 books a year, right? That's a lot. Like the how many weeks in a year? I think it's 52, right? I think it's 52. Yeah, cool. 52 weeks in a year. So he reads basically a book a week. I honestly think that's a lot. I don't think it's impossible, but it's definitely hard. Yeah, let's look at someone else, Ali Abdaal, right? Let's just see if Google says it. If not, he probably has it in one of his videos. Yes, 52 weeks. Yeah, thanks, Taran. Ali Abdaal, how many books does he read? Let's take a look if we find something here. Last year read over 50 books, right? So same thing, like these overachiever guys, Bill Gates, Ali Abdaal, the YouTuber. These people read a lot. I'm nowhere close to that, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm nowhere close. I honestly have no idea. If I had to guess how many books I read a year, I don't even know. I have no idea. Like, it fluctuates so much for me. Should I throw a number? I don't know. Like, that's the thing. Like, my point is kind of like, is it useful to know how many books other people read? I might do the math some other day, because I have no idea. Honestly, I have no idea. But yeah, that's the main point, right? Like, falling into comparison games. I think it's something that we all do, because at the end of the day, we all want to be successful. We all want to have money. We all want to, be seen as smart and clever. And we always think that books are the ways to do that. And I honestly do believe that books help you become smarter. Like, I think is a good goal to set for yourself, perhaps. However, when we fall into comparison games, it never feels like enough. What if you end up reading 40 books a year? That's a lot. That's very good, right? But you can think, what if those books didn't help you at all in your life? you didn't really make any significant changes in your life. Was it really worth it? Or even worse, you read your 40 books a year, but because Bill Gates reads 50 books a year, now you feel like, oh, okay, you failed, right? So I think setting up goals for amount of books that need to be read a year, I think is a bad metric. I don't think it's a good approach. Honestly, it's only good if you are a YouTuber, if you're a blogger, and you attract people to your videos by saying things like that. So I don't know if I'll ever make a video being like, oh, this year I read this number of books. I don't know if that's something I'll do. I'm always happy to change my mind if I think that's something beneficial. But for the normal person, everyone in our normal lives, apart from making content online, I don't know if it's useful to actually keep track of how many books. Turan is saying, I struggle to even read 12 books, fiction or non-fiction books a year. Yeah, and that's realistic. I think that number is realistic. And again, I don't think it's necessary to set a particular goal, because it's way more important to actually get value out of books than to focus on a quantity. So that is one of the main points that I want to bring up. Trying to build up the motivation to start my challenge of reading 1,000 books over the course of the next few years. That's interesting. So, Turan, let me ask you, why do you feel setting up a number is useful for you? I'm not saying it's useless. Personally, for me, I don't think it works. At least at this current time, I'm happy to change my mind. But personally, for me, setting a number of books that I should go through feels like homework for me, So I'd love to know your opinion, Turan, on what motivates you to do something like this, Because personally, whenever I think of setting up a goal like that, it's definitely for the views, It's definitely for, attracting people to click on my video, that kind of stuff. But in my personal life, I don't see much value in it. Even with making content, I feel a bit inadequate. I feel a bit it's a bit of an ego fight if I say okay, I read 100 books a year, If I made a video about that, right now, I would feel inadequate to do that. But I'd love to know, what are the values that you find in setting up a challenge based on a number of books, And yeah, you said previously, Turan, that you read both fiction and non-fiction. So is this challenge based on both fiction and non-fiction? There's a theory that reading 1,000 of something, books, essays, papers, etc., is the same as an MA, so a master's, right? Yeah, that's the thing, It's kind of tricky, what is the use of a master's? And yeah, Turan is saying both fiction and non-fiction. What is the use of a master's degree? I honestly think that the main purpose of a master's degree is to get a job, to apply for jobs so that your curriculum looks better. So the question is I understand where you're coming from. This is interesting. 1,000 of something is equivalent of an MA. Okay, English not my first language. Let me just confirm that MA is a master's degree. In case I'm talking crap. Okay, wait. Okay, so MA is a Master of Arts, right? I don't know. Is an MA in general just a master's, or is it always Masters of Arts? I know MBA. I have a master's in marketing, but I have no idea if it's the same as this. But my master's is useless. It was just a good experience to me. It wasn't something that brought me to a next level in any way. It was just studying one more year of university. I finished my career in filmmaking here in Ecuador, and then I went to England to do my master's. Yeah, okay, gotcha. So Masters of Arts, MS is Masters of Science. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, and honestly, the master's, in my opinion, again, is a good way to get jobs, but I don't think it increased my knowledge exponentially. But I do get you. I definitely learned a lot from books. Perhaps even more than what I learned at my master's degree. But okay, yeah, let's keep going with some of the other points, because some of them are focused on these ego traps that we might fall into when we're trying to build a reading habit, So Randy saying doing an undergraduate course. Let me just move my face. Doing an undergraduate course in English language and plan to do a master's in applied linguistics. That's incredible. Yeah, I mean, again, if you find value in this kind of stuff, You know, like if you find the value in your life, like there's definitely nothing wrong with this kind of stuff, master degrees and so on. I do have one. Do I regret it? No, because I had a nice experience. Like I went to live in England, and that was a good experience for me. But yeah, I never been too much into academics. Never been too interested personally in like certificates and degrees, because I work for myself right now. I don't really use them at all. Like you know, that certificate at all. Like I don't even have it yet. I left it in England because I had to move to South America, to Ecuador. Um, but it will come soon. My uncle has it. Either way, long story, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I never put too much emphasis in that kind of stuff personally. Like, I don't think I'll ever come back to university or studying or anything like that formally. I love education. I love self-education, you know, being self-taught and a lot of skills, things that I value. But personally, yeah, I don't, I'm not that much into academics and so on. This will all help with my writing. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it will, you know, like especially if you're someone that you feel like formal education is something that contributes to your learning, I think is a good thing. Like I definitely don't, I'm not against it. For other people, it's just for myself. It doesn't really work for me. I don't know. That's my opinion. Feel free to ignore it. Yeah. So the second point, the second mistake, and again, this kind of list is a list of mistakes that we make, or at least mistakes that I've made that I'm trying to correct in order to make the most out of reading a book. You know, so the second one is always reading with a goal in mind, right? So this means, this means like always trying to get a certain amount of value out of a book, kind of like almost expecting what's coming out of the book, or like even thinking like, okay, if I read this number of books, or if I read this specific books that was recommended by like, I don't know, by some famous person or someone you admire, you think you'll be rich by the end of reading those certain number of books, or you think you'll have enough knowledge to call yourself an expert or that kind of stuff. I mean, those things can definitely happen, you know, like books do have a power to change people. But I think whenever you set yourself with a goal, you stop focusing too much on the journey. And I do believe that reading is more focused on the journey, is a process, you know, the process of absorbing information, of learning what you can in the moment, following your curiosity. And this is going to tie up to some of the other ideas that I want to explore next, you know. So actually, yeah, this is why I wanted to discuss these things live, because I don't know if I want to reorganize the order of these things. So yeah, just a little note to say that maybe this point should go later in the list, because maybe it's easier to explain this after I cover some of the other things. Mistake number 3 is forcing yourself to only read one book at a time, right? And this for me changed quite a lot of things, because in the past I was always like, okay, I always thought I had to read one book and never see another book, never open another book until I finish the one that I'm currently reading, you know? But personally, I find it a lot more enjoyable to read several books at a time. And again, well, the thing is that all of this comes down to self-awareness, right? Knowing what works for you, knowing how your brain works, what is your preference on these kind of things, you know? Water break.
Water break activated. It's good to be hydrated.
Yeah, so Toran says, in the past, camera one, there we go. In the past, I would have several on the go, so I have different choices depending on my mood. Yeah, exactly, that's it, right? So like, I personally really like having maybe like 3 books at a time, sometimes 4. However, sometimes let's say I do something like that, right? Like where I'm reading 4 books at a time. Maybe 3 of those I'm kind of reading kind of at the same pace, like, you know, one day I read one book, the next day I read the other. Sometimes I might read a little bit of 2 books in the same day, but maybe say like the 4th book, I just have it on standby and I literally don't open it for a week, even a month. I have, for instance, I have this book that I've been reading for over a year. It's a biography of Leonardo da Vinci. Great book. What's the name of the author? Let me just remember. This guy makes like the best biographies. Let me just try to find it. Scene 2. Leonardo da Vinci biography. Such a good one. Yeah, by Walter Isaacson, right? This book is incredible, and I love it, and I've been reading it for over a year, but I keep putting it down, coming back to it whenever I feel like it. Last time that I went to, 2 weeks ago, I went on a family holiday to the beach, and that is a 6-hour drive. Thankfully, I wasn't driving, so I spent a lot of that time reading this book, and it was a very enjoyable experience. Maybe it was like, yeah, I didn't read the whole journey, but maybe like 3 solid hours of reading it, and I made quite a lot of progress. Let me actually check. I do have it here, how far in I've gotten with that one. Let me take a look. Wow, it's crazy. It's such a long book. At least it feels like it. I am 45% of the book through, and I started reading it. I honestly think it was a year ago, So, but in the past, I would have felt guilty about that, being like, okay, am I slacking? Am I too slow of a reader? But yeah, I started reading other things that I also enjoy, and I kind of follow whatever's interesting to me, whatever is like something that I'm currently enjoying, So I don't put too much pressure on like finishing one book before I go to the next. So that to me is very useful. It's something that I really think helps me enjoy books a lot more. Because what happens if you find a book that you're currently reading, right? Like you're currently reading a book and you say like, okay, I'm gonna finish this book no matter what. And then midway through the book, you're just bored, right? So what will happen if you get to the point where you allow yourself to be so bored by a book that you no longer, it's not just that you don't want to read that book anymore. It's that you don't want to read at all, So a bad book, or a book that just gets you bored, or maybe it's not in the right timing in your life, where, the book just doesn't hit you as much as you wish it would. Like it might pull you away from the whole habit of reading, So I think it's better to sacrifice a book, be like, okay, maybe I won't read this book anymore, or I'll give it a pause, I'll leave this book on a hold until I feel like reading it. That's a better way to avoid killing the passion of reading, because if you always force yourself to finish every book before you start the next one, then you might completely kill the passion of reading, right? And that's definitely not worth doing, so I think it's better to sacrifice a book and keep moving on and read other books, right? Turan says, with the way my mind works, I can only read what I'm interested in at the time. Yeah, that's it. I work pretty much the same, I completely agree. I think it's a good thing to follow, follow your mind, follow your curiosity. One of the points that I want to make in this video of the script that I'm making is, like, at least for personal reading, this is not a school anymore. You might be in school, but if we're talking about other books that you read for your own pleasure, for your own self-development, for your own well-being, it's not school. So there's no teacher grading you on if you read the whole book, if you understood every single chapter the way that it was expected to be understood, like you can do whatever you want. That's one of the advantages of being an adult, which I'm just starting to learn how to be an adult, or at least I'm pretending. And that's definitely one of the advantages. No longer school. You don't need to follow any rules if you don't want to. You can always set rules for yourself, but if they're not beneficial, change them or delete them, So yeah, that's definitely something good to keep in mind. Water break.
Water break activated. It's good to be hydrated.
By the way, I haven't even showed you the second setup. Camera 2. Camera 2. There we go. Yeah, I like having these multiple camera angles just to make it a bit less boring. And I got this light. Can you see the purpleness? Can you see how my hand is very purple? I have this, what my brother calls it the TikTok light, because it's what TikTokers use, I think. Let me show you. Camera 1. Yeah, so it's this ring light right here. And I have the GoPro kind of hanging from there, which is quite fun. I had to do some kind of weird hacks to make it hold. But it's working. And I have tons of cables, the charging one, the one for the light, the one to connect to my computer and so on. So it's pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with the setup so far. And I do like the source of light that comes from here. So camera 2. Camera 2. Yeah, that's what that looks like. And I think it looks nice. The purple light is quite nice. Kind of hits me here a little. And then here I have, well, you can't see it, but yeah, no, I can't show you that well. Yeah, no, either way, I have another light up there. And I have some other room lights going on, like behind the sofa right there and so on. So yeah, pretty happy with the setup. I still don't know what are my favorite colors for like general setup. I'm trying to always change them around a little. But yeah, either way. That was a little intermission of lights. camera 1. There we go. Okay, scene 2. Okay, so what is the next point, right? So the next point is not developing a note-taking system. And this one I really want to emphasize self-awareness, because a lot of us, especially if you follow my channel perhaps, you might be way more interested than most people into note-taking and using productivity apps to your advantage and so on. Like I personally love using Readwise for my book processing. Let me just show you. Readwise is incredible. I've been in love with this app. So good. I love the flashcards. I have 78 days of my. Oh wait, you can't see that up here. I have 78 days on a row. These things to me are really a double-edged sword. Whenever I'm trying to follow a habit or do something repeatedly, whenever there's a streak like this, I get a bit obsessive. Like if I miss a day, like for instance, like I'm still learning languages, but in the past I used to use another app called Duolingo. You might have heard of it. And I was using Duolingo to learn Esperanto, which is a constructed language. Whole nother topic, right? But with Duolingo, there's always a streak, right? There's like the numbers of days in a row that I practice that certain language. And it's very in your face. It's always there whenever you open the app. And I got to like 200 days in a row. I was on a roll, Wait, sorry, let me just move this cable out of the way. There we go. I was on a roll and I was motivated and so on. But one day something happened and I forgot. I forgot to do my practice, my Duolingo practice. And it was horrible. I was so disappointed that, you say like, oh, okay, it's fine. I can start from 0. I can restart my streak, my perfect streak on this certain habit that I'm doing. But whenever it's a hard number, something like this, it's a hard number that is right there. It's in your face. And when you see it go down to 0, it's so disappointing that even though I said like, okay, I know I need to keep going, I don't need to give up on this. Like day by day, I started feeling less motivated and I give up on it. So to me, this is a double-edged sword. It really keeps me accountable. But it also can be very demotivating for me and very heartbreaking whenever I miss a streak. So that's why I don't know, I have mixed thoughts on this streak. And also like in Readwise, you have like a dashboard. Yeah, here it is, like the statistics. So this is really cool, I really like this. Like you can see when have you started. So it seems like I started on August 31st doing the flashcards and Readwise every day. I'm just gonna put it in dark mode even though that's not the original. I just like it a bit better. Recoverable. I don't know what this is. Interesting. So yeah, I've been on a 78-day streak. And here you have a rank, right? This is interesting. It's like, yeah, here it is. So there's a leaderboard for the people that have been using Readwise the longest. So the winner, this guy has been the winner for a while. He's on 1,053 days. How long is that in months or years? So that's admirable. That's 2 years. 2 years, 0.8. So it's almost 3 years, it's incredible. And then the next person is below 1,000, These people are very tight. So yeah, in here apparently I am on the place 1,444. Can we find that? Let's just scroll all the way down. Let's see if we can find me. 1,444. That's a cool number to be in. 1,444. Okay, so I'm tied with a few people. Here I am. Santi. Right? It's really cool. So yeah, I guess I'm not the worst. 1,400 out of 300 people. It feels good, but it's nowhere close to the top. And of course, it gets way more difficult as you keep going, because what happens if you just miss one day? Like, just, the reason why I have so many mixed feelings about these streaks and leaderboards is that I really like them and I get pretty obsessive, and sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm gonna win, I'm gonna get to the top, even if it takes me 5 years, But the problem is that what are you sacrificing for that ego fight? Like that's the problem. Like what if you want to go camping for a week, right? Or just 2 days or 1 day, like you want to go camping and you won't have an internet connection, or you won't have a charger with you or a way to charge your phone, and you miss a day on these things, I don't think it's worth to sacrifice a good experience like camping just for the ego chase of having a perfect streak on this thing. So I'm trying to let go of these things, but honestly, the obsessive part of me is super happy to to engage with this kind of content. So it's pretty crazy. What's up, brother? Brother Seno Chad, is that it? Sorry if I mispronounced it. Seno Chad. Yeah, right. It's very impressive that leaderboard. We're talking about the Readwise leaderboard for anyone that just arrived. The person that has done the longest flashcard reviews in Readwise is like almost 3 years. It's 2.8 years. So that's pretty much 3 years. It happened to me with a long to-do streak and clicking on the last task just after midnight. No, that's horrible. Oh man, there should be a way to revert that. That's so horrible. Sorry to hear that. That's so frustrating. David, what's up, man? Good to see you here. Thank you for being here. Toran is saying, this is something that I'm slowly getting to grips with, though I'm struggling to actually take notes while reading. Yeah, so we were talking, for anyone that just arrived, we were talking about some of the habits, some of the things to keep in mind whenever you are trying to build a good reading habit, something healthy that is going to actually help you absorb the most you can out of a book. And one of the ones that I was saying is developing a note-taking system. I think it's important, but I think it's really based on self-awareness, right? Because it really depends on what works for you. So for some people that like reading on physical books, it might be a good idea to have just notes on the margins of books. Like they're called, it's actually a really cool concept. It's called marginalia. Marginalia. Let me just make sure that's the correct term and it's not something horrible because it sounds horrible. But yeah, marginalia, here it is, right? Is whenever you take notes on the sides of the books or just in the middle of the book itself. Yeah, here it is. This is a good example. Let me just move my face. There you go, right? So like in the book, you just write things on the side. I used to do this and I really enjoyed it. You can just like destroy the book. Some people are really against writing in books. I don't care that much. I'm happy to destroy the book. So this is a cool way to do it. But of course, I personally nowadays I use my Kindle a lot more, which I don't think I have it here. Yeah, no, it's on the other room. But yeah, because I use the Kindle, I need to find other ways to do such a thing, And I'm going to show you a couple of things that I do, in case you find it helpful. But yeah, of course, it's all about, being self-aware. Excuse me. I need a little water break. Water break.
Water break activated. It's good to be hydrated.
Ah, that's a good point, Turan. This is why uni books have such wide margins. Yeah, that is true, so that you can take notes like that in like just in the book. It's nice because, like one of the things that is good about note taking is that in general, and this is something that I do think works for myself, it might not work for you, is that whenever you write something, even if you can't find those notes later, because there's a lot of note taking systems where you can't find it, like you're looking for a note and there's no way to find it. That's what happens when you write in a notebook for me. Like I can never find my notes. It's really hard because something that I love about taking notes in the computer is using Command F, or Control F for finding. Having a search tool for me is invaluable, super useful. But it's about knowing yourself. It's about knowing what is your preferred method of note taking. My point was that whenever you write something, even if you can't find it later, it helps you get that information down into your mind a lot better, right? Because now that you've externalized the thoughts, now that you kind of explained it in your own words somehow, even if it's just like in the margins of a book, like in here, then yeah, you're making that knowledge a lot more concrete in your brain. And the thing that actually helps a bit more personally is talking about the things that I've been learning, right? So like if I'm reading about a book that maybe I'm struggling with and is a bit of a difficult concept for me still, talking about it really helps. And that's actually one of the other tips that I wanted to share, is talking about the things that you read, right? Yeah, so one of the mistakes is not talking about what you read. I'm just gonna put a little note in here to be like, maybe reorder, because this could be higher on the list like before. Yeah, the reason why I'm going through this list, and again, if you just got here, this the script for the next video that I'm going to be uploading. I definitely want to see what the correct order of these things are, you know, just so that the video is a bit more concise. If you guys want me to expand on any of these particular ones, or you have any questions or any ideas even, or even particular additional points, feel free to let me know, because I'm happy to get your feedback on this right now. So yeah, either way, number 7, I'm gonna going out of order now. Number 7 is not talking about what you read, right? Let me see if it's nicer to show you in this reading view. Well, this is nice for writing, but I think it's better to present things like this. Either way. So, yeah, not talking about what you read, I think is really, really important. Like, I don't know, here I had an example, right? Like, say you're interested in something random, right? Like, the origin of kites, you know, kites history. Kites. The first kite, which I have no idea. I've never researched on this. I was just making something funny and random. But yeah, either way, if you're interested in something random that maybe you can't find people to talk to about, you know, like to talk with about topics like this, that's one of the powerful things about the internet. You can definitely find a community online about kites. And you can definitely find ways in which you can engage with other people that are into like random stuff like you know? For me, I'm super lucky. I have a very patient girlfriend. She listens a lot, and and whenever we have lunch or something, you know, she listens a lot. So she can listen to me talking about random stuff, right? So like one of the good things about like having someone you can talk to is that whenever you explain the concepts that you're reading, it's a lot. It stays in your mind a lot longer, right? It stays in your mind. And it's something deeper, because our brains really value the time that we spend when we socialize with others. That comes from like, you know, a lot of our caveman mentality about like how societies and communities are the most important things that we should prioritize for survival. So whenever you share something that is in your mind with a group of people or with someone, you know, someone you're socializing with, externalizing with another human being, your brain values that a lot more. That's something really interesting that I recently learned. So yeah. Yeah, kites, right? So yeah, we should definitely, let's go fly a kite. I haven't used a kite in so long. They're so much fun. As a kid, I used to love them. I think every kid loves them. So much fun. What's up, Stay Balance? Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. So Stay Balance says, I can read a lot, but I can't recall it or speak from it. So I'm thinking taking notes will help. Yeah, so if you just got here, just in case, or for anyone else that just got here, I was talking a bit about, let me just move my face. I was talking a bit about, you know, developing a note-taking system based on self-awareness, based on knowing what works for you. Like for some people, taking notes on the sides of books might help. For others, you know, using particular apps. I can show you if you're interested, like what are the apps that I use for my, you know, for taking notes, something that is easier for me to do. And yeah, it just really depends, you know, like something that I really enjoy doing is I actually, well, like most people or like many people, I get my books from Amazon. So I get them in Kindle. My Kindle's in the other room. I wish I had it here to show you. But yeah, either way, I take highlights in there. The only thing I really don't like about Kindle that is a big annoyance for me is I wish it had a keyboard, you know, or I wish you could buy an extension for a keyboard or something like that. Like you cannot connect any sort of keyboard, Bluetooth or anything to a Kindle, because I love taking notes inside of the book. I highlight something and then I take notes in there because I like explaining things in my own words, just to internalize it a bit better. But what I'm currently doing, kind of like the workflow that I'm doing, is I highlight things in Kindle and then I go back to them and then I take notes on them. I don't always do this, but yeah, I'm still kind of trying to develop a nice system for something like that. I'm currently using Readwise quite a lot, which is pretty nice because it brings all the highlights from your books. And yeah, even just doing this is pretty nice, you know, like I already did my practice today, but let's review more. Okay, I'll just show you how this works. Every highlight that you take in your Kindle comes here, right? So these ones don't currently have my notes. I really want to add my notes. However, the cool thing that I love about Readwise is that it exports to your note-taking apps such as Obsidian and Logseq and that kind of stuff. Well, sorry, Logseq not yet, but it will come soon. I mean Obsidian, Notion, Evernote. You can bring these notes there, which is pretty nice. You can sync them. But yeah, something that I want to do more is actually start taking more notes in here. So, you know, notes, optional. And then here I can do some reflection. So maybe this is a nice workflow in general, just, you know, like highlighting things and then later you can come back and take notes on it. But, you know, like the way that this works is that it's kind of like a flashcard. So if this is something that you want to keep seeing more often, you put keep, and if not, you put discard, right? There are shortcuts, which is nice. D for discard, enter for keep. So this book that I really like, that I don't think I finished, but I really like it. It's one of the books that I keep rotating and I keep coming back to, but I haven't finished it. It's really good though. Working hard without working smart is useless. I like this, so I'm gonna keep it. This is just kind of a nice reflection from there. This is an interesting book. I think therefore I draw. Just kind of like a book on philosophy. Yeah, it's a really interesting book. It's hard to explain for sure. That a man cannot step into the same river twice, even though the river just kept rolling along. I like this. Is a classic. Flashing lights. Okay, this is not that good of a highlight because it lacks context. So whenever I know the context, I might take a note in here just to know what it's talking about. But if not, I can always check the location of the book and actually see. Here it is. Let me see. Okay, no, you need to click on the book. You know, you click on the book and then here you can see. There you go. Yeah, this one, right? So the location of the book. And that way you can navigate straight to your highlights in Kindle. That kind of stuff. I really like this workflow. Or you can input it manually, you know. It really depends where you have this. My setup is kind of a mess right now, so I can't show you everything. But I definitely can show you for another book that is kind of more, how do you say? Streamlined, let's say. Yeah, so like if I browse for books, let me just show you. Courage is Calling, right here. Yeah, okay, so like, for instance, let's see. Let me just try to find a good moment. Yeah, so here I have some notes, as you can see, and these are notes that I actually took in the Kindle app. If you don't believe in anything, it becomes very hard to find anything worth believing in. I like that a lot. So, yeah, we just click on this location. Okay, it's opening on my second screen. So it's right here. And here I have it on the Kindle app on my computer, right? So this is Kindle for PC actually, right? And what's really nice is that if you go to a highlight, you can actually take notes in here, right? So like, I don't know, like here, for instance, right? Oh man, sometimes I need to put more bookmarks because sometimes when I take notes, that's an annoying thing about Kindle. It says like, oh, this is the last place that you were reading. But no, it's just a place where I was taking notes. So hopefully this won't mess things up. But yeah, either way, as you can see, like for instance, here I have all the highlights. And it's so much better to do it on the computer than it is on, like you can do it on your phone, right? And the phone works well. Doing it on the Kindle, it's horrible because the Kindle keyboard is terrible. I just really wish, like I said, that there was some sort of keyboard that you could connect by a Bluetooth or something, you know? But yeah, here it is. So like for instance, the brave don't despair. They believe, they're not cynical, they care. And what I wrote in here, let me just move my face, is a sign of cowardice to say that life has no meaning and to act as if that was the only way to perceive life, right? I need better punctuation, but that's the idea, right? So that's something really cool about Readwise. You can go in there, or if you don't have it, you know, if you don't have it connected, you know, if it's a book that maybe you bought in another store or something like that, you can actually search location 722. So you can go to where, like, I don't know, it kind of depends. Like you can import books. It's kind of a mess, honestly. You need to find a workflow that works for you because it's kind of tricky sometimes to use this app, depending on how you get your books. But yeah, for instance, here it says, right, I want to go to 722. You can go to locations, 722. That's pages, so let's get locations. And that should work. I don't know why that didn't work. 722, maybe you're already there. Just go to random one 400. Yeah, there we go. It takes you here, right? That's the idea. You can also do that in the phone, which is pretty nice. But yeah, if you get the book from Amazon and it's connected through your account, through Readwise and all, whenever you click on one of these, it should actually take you there, right? It's loading. There it is. It should have taken me there. Yeah, sometimes you need to exit the library. It's kind of weird, to be honest. It's kind of annoying. It's not perfect. I wish it was way better. I know that Readwise is working on some projects. Like there's the Reader app that they're about to release. I have beta access to it and it's pretty nice, but they haven't released a feature where you can actually. I think there's a way in which you're gonna be able to read books, in there. Like that'd be great. I honestly don't know. I don't know enough details, so that might have been just something that I misunderstood. But it'd be incredible to actually use Readwise itself to read books because it's a much better experience than the Kindle app, for instance, right? However, this is still pretty useful. Not perfect, but it's pretty useful. Cool. Oh, I missed quite a few comments. Da 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 da. Books that need is there a free Readwise alternative? I don't have money. I'm just 16 books. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I know what you mean. Like, especially when you're young and you feel like you can't afford certain things, it's easy to start looking for alternatives. But I honestly think like there's a lot of advantages for paying for books because you can do things like syncing your Readwise more automatically, or just in general taking notes in the Kindle app that syncs better. Honestly, I don't really know of any good Readwise alternatives, if I'm being honest. Honestly, I do feel that Readwise is one of those that is almost one of its kind and is really powerful. So I honestly don't know about any alternatives. Sorry about that. I do read a lot, but like 99% of them are story, so fiction, right? Part of me wanted to read more nonfiction books. Yeah, I get you. I'm actually the opposite. I've always read, well, not always. I was terrible. I didn't used to read back in the day. I started reading when I was 20. I'm 25 now. So yeah, since I was 20, I actually started reading for real. But before that, I was terrible. I was one of those guys that never opened a book in their lives. I was the worst. But I had huge mindset shifts that helped me get started into reading, and I'm super grateful for that. And yeah, when I started, and even till now, I read nonfiction way more than fiction. Now I'm starting to add more fiction into like my reading. I'm reading Harry Potter. I'm on the 5th book. It's been so much fun. I really love it. And yeah, it's been such a nice experience to read fiction. So I'm actually on the opposite page of you. But yeah, honestly, back in the day, I would have said nonfiction books are better than fiction. You learn a lot more. But there's some really good fiction books that you actually learn a lot of life philosophy and how people work and psychology and just good life lessons that I think fiction has. So honestly, if you don't enjoy nonfiction, I don't think you should force yourself. Like one of the points that I was making earlier is that this is not school anymore. No one's there to tell you what you should do or shouldn't do. So honestly, do whatever feels better for you, whatever brings you joy. And if nonfiction fits into that, you can definitely give it a try. But don't feel forced to do that just because others do it. I think that's something important. Came in late, no worries. Good to have you here, man. What else? Okay, I'm reading some old comments that I didn't get to. Either way, cool guys. Yeah, let's actually. I might make this live stream a bit short, so sorry if you just got here. But yeah, I do want to cover a couple more of the points. Again, this is this is actually for the script of the video that I'm making after this live stream. So if you guys have any feedback or any ideas that you struggle with the most, feel free to let me know. Or if you think that, I don't know, I could add anything to these points. So yeah, I was jumping it around a little because I'm still not set on the exact order of things. Wait, I made a mistake in here, not revisiting. There we go. Yeah, okay, so some of the other things that I want to cover in the video that I'm gonna be making is, we already covered developing a note-taking system through self-awareness, knowing what works for you. Okay, these two are very important. So like not implementing what you learn, right? I think that's very, very important. I think it's really, really good to actually learn to implement what you learn so that you can add it into your life. I read a lot of philosophy and self-improvement books, to be honest, and some of the things that I really gotten a lot from that experience is actually implementing these things into my life. So for instance, Stoicism, I've read quite a few books on Stoicism, maybe like, I don't want to say a number, but if I had to, if you're pointing a gun, on Stoicism, I probably read, I don't know, like 8 to 10 books, something like that. Yeah, and I actually feel like I've incorporated a lot of that in my life, you know. And then the other thing is actually not revisiting valuable books, you know. So revisiting valuable books, again, it's kind of tied up to number 5, like implementing what you read. I think if you actually have a bit of a method to actually revisit books. Oh, no way, look at this. So Corinne actually says, thoughts about actual read the books versus summary of them, like Blinglies or short form. Okay, this is funny you ask, because this video that I'm making for this week is actually sponsored by Shortform, right? It's a company that I really believe in, that I really like, and they reach out to me. And, you know, I just don't like it when, like, people make YouTube videos on sponsors that are completely unrelated to the topic. So that's also why I'm making this video about reading that is very tied up to Shortform. And I honestly think it's a great application. So yeah, if you want to hear more about it and more of my perspective on that, definitely check out the video that I'm going to be uploading this Friday, and I'll have more of my thoughts in that. But just to give you a bit of a preview of what my opinion is with that, I don't think Shortform or Blinkist is a way in which you can actually replace the contents of the book, but I think it's a good way to reinforce and revisit the content of books, right? At least that's how I use it. However, Shortform does have a really cool feature, or a really cool like part of the whole package, which is like the 1-page summary. So at the beginning of each summary or guide, you have like this 1-page summary of what the book is about, and then it goes more in depth, chapter by chapter or topic by topic. And I think reading that 1-page summary is a good way to actually get an idea if a book is worth reading. So before I read a book, I try to find it in Shortform, which is the one that I use. And if I like that 1-page summary, then I go for it. You know, I think it's better to perceive it like that. Like the short summary is to decide if the book is worth engaging with, and then the real long summary, the whole guide, is good for revisiting the book after you read it. So I honestly don't think you can actually get the whole gist out of like a book, or like everything out of a book from a summary. I think it's better to reinforce it. So yeah, that's my opinion on that, to be honest. Yeah. Like with GTD and some other productivity books. Yeah, GTD is a really good one. Like that is, you know, getting things done. That book, I think, is the book that I have the most notes on, or at least highlights. I do have some extra notes on my Obsidian, which is pretty nice. I do like keeping kind of like a separate file where I put like my own manual notes, getting things done. Yeah, as you can see, this one has 400 highlights. It's quite a lot. But yeah, this book is incredible, and I like having it in Readwise, where it like shows as flashcards, and I can revisit these concepts often. However, when you use Readwise, I think it's better to optimize what you highlight so that it's useful by itself, so that it's not that context dependent, you know. So definitely, I took a lot of these highlights before I started using Readwise, so not every highlight is great. A lot of the highlights are very context dependent, which is not the best thing to do. And Corinne, yeah, thank you, Corinne. So I appreciate you looking forward to that video. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be recording it today. So actually, if there's any particular things that you would like me to talk about in that video, feel free to let me know. But thanks again for your great question. Okay, this is a really good question by Samyak. Let's move my face. Let me take a little water break. Water break.
Water break activated. It's good to be hydrated.
Yeah, so what is the balance of doing passionate work versus coming out of your comfort zone? You need to come out of the comfort zone to do stuff, but I think for success, you need to do things that you're passionate. Yeah, I do remember we talked about this subject in one of our previous live streams, but I'm happy to see what your thoughts are with this and to see if I can help somehow. I definitely get you. This is definitely a struggle that I have. It's not something that I managed to completely solve for myself, to be honest. So yeah, you know, doing passionate work. I for instance, like, I can only speak from my experience. I do try to follow my passions quite a lot, even to my own detriment sometimes. Meaning that sometimes I do something that I'm passionate about, and I know I could be doing something else that would make more money, personally, you know. But I think in the long term, focusing on the things that you're passionate about is the best way to sustain yourself financially and emotionally in the long term. So I would say do follow your passions, you know. Don't do things that you just feel are the right thing to do just because someone told you. It's better to follow the things that you actually feel are right for you. Because I think pushing ourselves out of our comfort zones, of course, is a valuable thing and something we should do. But I think a lot of that advice that is thrown around of pushing yourself out of the comfort zone is usually made on what other people think you should do, right? So even reading more, you know, if you don't want to read more, don't read more. You know, it's completely up to you. Like, if it's getting you out of your comfort zone, but it's not something you think is valuable to you, then don't do it. You know, a lot of people just do things because other people advise it. And I think that's where self-awareness comes in, and is one of the most important skills you can have. So yeah, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone is only useful when it's something that you actually believe is good for you, and not just because it's something that someone else prescribed to you, you know? So yeah, that's my opinion on that. I think there's a nice place if, you know, if we just say that a comfort zone is a circle like this and you're in the middle of it, getting out of your comfort zone is around this area right here, right? Like the unknown, the places where you, of course, don't feel comfortable, right? I think staying on the edge of things, where you're still kind of motivated and excited to do things, and is not complete pain and sacrificing your present moment for a goal of the future, then I think it's good to be on that edge and maybe push yourself a little. But whenever you're too outside of your comfort zone, I feel you might be doing things that you don't even enjoy, you know. And if you don't enjoy things, and if you don't think they're good for you, or something you're passionate about, then it might be useless. Not every time, but yeah, I do think motivation matters. A lot of people are trying to say that you shouldn't rely on motivation, and yeah, I do agree to that extent of like, yeah, you should focus more on habits, and once you have a habit, you don't depend on motivation as much. But how do you decide what habit you want to build, right? And that is 100% based on motivation. So I do think motivation is important. Yes, you do need to work towards not relying on motivation every time, and not relying on discipline, but rather on your environment and your habits. But motivation and passion and these things definitely help you know where you want to go in life. So I don't think they're useless, you know? How have you experienced change? That's it. Top down, your philosophy you resonate with makes you change your mindset, or down up, your faults in mindset make you change philosophy. This is such a good question. Let me think about it. Water break. Water break.
Water break activated. It's good to be hydrated.
I really gotta think about this one because it's really good. Okay, so one of the ways that you're describing it is top down. Philosophy, your philosophy will make you change your mindset, right? Or your faults or your flaws in your mindset make you change philosophy. Okay, I'm willing to say that it starts down up, right? Like your flaws in your mindset is a motivation that makes you seek for a philosophy. If there's nothing that you feel is wrong with you, if there's nothing that you don't feel you want to change about yourself, then you won't seek for a philosophy, right? And for me, this is interesting because for me, my journey into philosophy that started when I was around 20 years old, so that's 5 years ago. It started because I was misguided by my life philosophy, I believe. I was never an idiot, I don't think. You know, like someone that completely valued the wrong things in life, I don't think. I think I had a good idea of the fact that, for instance, like, you know, like there's things more important than money, that being healthy is good, that, I don't know, being kind to people, not being a douchebag is a better way to live. I did have some good values and I did have some good perspectives, but I did have something that was very wrong with me. That only because of that, let me actually leave this thing up because it's very related if anyone reads it. Yeah, so like something that really was messed up in my life philosophy, was my false idea. And this is again for me, it might work for some people, but my false idea that positivity beats everything, that you should be positive at all costs. I was too annoyingly optimistic, or trying to be optimistic a lot more than I should have, to the extent that I didn't fully give myself time to face my negative emotions and to actually accept them for what they were. I thought I had to erase them. And it's not like I was suppressing my emotions. I feel like I've always been someone that talks about emotions and stuff like that. But I wasn't happy at all with my negative emotions. I thought I had to erase them completely. And now with the life philosophy that I've developed, I feel like it's a lot more useful for me to actually accept those emotions and actually take them for what they are, you know? Even if they're negative, almost like loving your emotions, even if they're bad or you feel they're bad. Just accepting them, letting them happen to you. You know, they will pass. And that's okay. It's part of the human experience. Like, negative emotions are essential. And all we can do is learn from them, but we shouldn't deny them. That's my perspective on that. So yeah, for me, again, to your question, for me, it started with that down, down up. So like my flaws in my mindset, changed my philosophy. They taught me about other ways to perceive these things. And if you're struggling with this, I do recommend a book called The Antidote. This is the first book that got me started with philosophy, to be honest. Scene 2. So it's this one right here. Happiness for People Who Can't Stand Positive Thinking. I think it's an amazing, amazing book. And this changed everything for me. So for me, it started like that. I had to change my life philosophy because of my flaws in my character and in my current philosophy. And then I started seeing how my current philosophy started making changes in the rest of my life. So that's how I think it worked for me. I think it can work both ways, but that's how it worked for me. Cool, yeah, so that's that's rather hard to do for those of us with long-term depression and other related conditions. Yeah, it's definitely tricky, and especially if you have proper depression, like, diagnosed, that must be really hard. And I've definitely gone through stages of depression, but yeah, I don't have diagnosed depression, like clinical depression. So yeah, I've definitely struggled with a lot of anxiety in my life, but yeah, it's definitely hard with real depression and other conditions like that. So sorry to hear that. A lot of it is self-awareness, I think, trying to see what works for you. But yeah, I'm not a psychologist. I cannot prescribe things, even being honest. Damn, deep question and deep answers. Thank you so much. Perfect for my 12 a.m. midnight Sabdo session right now. Makes me think about my life right now. That's so good to hear. Thank you for the nice words, and good luck with your session, midnight sad boy session. That's funny. What is your take in philosophy versus intuition? We want to follow a certain path, Stoicism. Yeah, that's the path that I followed. But we don't always think about Epictetus and other masters in every decision. Moral intuition is needed. Yeah, like I like the idea of like some people, how they say, like someone you admire, whether that's Epictetus or Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, which definitely have been kind of my philosophical heroes. Like most people that get into Stoicism, you ask, what would Epictetus do in this situation, right? What would Seneca do? And if we want to get a bit deeper into Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius is my favorite one because he has a bit more of a balance, like Epictetus is a crazy guy, but he demands too much. That's definitely not something I could keep up with. I love it. I love his philosophy, and I love the handbook, the book. But yeah. Oh yeah, wait, I'm getting distracted by this. Ali Abdal did a Skillshare course on Stoicism. I didn't know he knew about Stoicism. That's pretty nice. Really cool. So yeah, like for me, for a lot of people, like it's like following someone that you respect, that you admire, and you ask, what would that person do? And I'm not religious, but some people might say, what would Jesus do? That kind of stuff. So yeah, you can definitely have a bit of like a master or a guide, or what is it called? A mentor. Yeah, like a mentor that you admire and you want to sometimes base your decision on what would that person do. But like you said, Epictetus for me is too much. Like I cannot think and act the way that Epictetus would. Marcus Aurelius, a bit more, you know. So yeah, moral intuition. I like this question. I honestly don't think I know the answer, but let me try to give you a bit of my reflections, maybe. So philosophy versus intuition, you know. I do think intuition is more important than a lot of philosophies make it seem, or at least Stoicism. Stoicism doesn't really value too much intuition, I don't think. And I think intuition is essential, you know. There's something inside of you that we don't know what it is, whether you're spiritual, religious or not. I do think there's something inside of us that tells us what is the right thing, and you should follow that, you know. I do have, let me try to find this. It's really, really cool. Let me actually open Obsidian, because I think I have it here, and it's a really interesting note based on intuition. And this is from a book called Why Greatness Cannot Be Planned. So let me try to find it. What is it called? I think I can show you my notes. I think that's fine. Okay. Follow your intuition. Where is it? Maybe it's in this one. Is it in this one? Yeah, I don't think it's... Let me see. No, I'm pretty sure it was on this book, Why Greatness Cannot Be Planned. Let me see if I find it real quick. If not, oh man, I can't believe I can't find it. Oh man, that's so annoying. Either way, I'm sorry, but the whole idea of that, I mean, it's still a good idea, but like, it's just that I wanted to show you that yeah, like you should trust your gut instincts, even though you don't know where it's coming from or you don't know what it might mean, but there's something inside of you that is kind of telling you what is the next stepping stone towards the path in your life that you want to go for. That's kind of the idea. I'm sorry I couldn't find it. It's so frustrating, but yeah, either way, that's kind of the idea, you know. I think people are too obsessed with labels. Labeling anything is already limiting, as all words have some connotation and some tropes. I don't know that word, sorry. Tropes? I have no idea, but I get it out of context, from the context. That limit thinking. Yeah, labels are definitely problematic. Like for me, a very conflicting label is goals. You know, I'm kind of trying to live my life with less goals, at least in like more ambitious stuff. You know, like I don't set the goal to be a millionaire. I don't do things like that. You know, so yeah, it just kind of depends. It just kind of really depends on like how you use these labels. But yeah, I particularly am really against the labels that we put on people. And well, I think that's inevitable. We always put labels on people, but I think it's very damaging when we put labels on ourselves. You know, like I'm this type of person, I'm that type of person, I can't do this, I can't do that. It's self-limiting beliefs, but it's definitely difficult to actually know what is the best way to deal with that. That's definitely a difficult question. What's up, Danny? Good to have you here, man. Just join and won't be here long, but intuition often relies on tactic, knowledge, which is built from experience, which is often a measure of expertise or lack of. Yeah, no, I agree. That's true. You know, like intuition is definitely something that comes from experience. This reminds me actually of like, you know, the book that I was telling you about earlier, guys, which is like the Leonardo da Vinci biography. And in that one, apparently Leonardo da Vinci was very focused at first on just following experimental knowledge. Is that the right term? Kind of like just knowledge that he had from experience. That's what I mean. Yeah, I don't know the right term, but either way, you know, like from the experience that you get out of experimenting in life and doing certain things. And that's where he had all of his knowledge. And he actually looked down on people that only got their knowledge out of books. And then towards when he was getting older, Leonardo da Vinci, he actually started finding more of a balance, and he actually started reading a lot more and getting knowledge from other people. And that's where he really went to the next level. Before that, I think, you know, like experience can teach you a lot, but it can't teach you everything, because we have a limited amount of time in our days. We have a limited amount of resources in our hands. We can definitely learn from others that have spent more time on those things, that know more about it than others, than us. So I think it's good to be humble and to realize that there's people that know a lot more than us. And I think that's what books can do for us. They can show us into the perspective of someone that is way more experienced, has spent a lot more time in anything that we're trying to learn, and we can learn so much from experts and people that have more experience than us. Water break.
Water break activated. It's good to be hydrated.
Quick stretch. You should read Mastery by Robert Greene. Quite a good read. Yeah, okay, that's a good one. So I haven't read any Robert Greene books yet. There's what is it? 42 Laws of Power? Am I wrong? Is that what it's called? The Rules of Power? 48 Rules of Power. 48 Laws of Power. Yeah, this one sounds good as well. I'll definitely check out Mastery. That sounds really good. Have you checked out the channel Future? Quite good content. Yeah, I am familiar with it. Future. This one right here, right? Yeah, okay, so I have lots of mixed thoughts. I think what... I forgot his name. What is the name of the guy, the host? Can't remember. Does it say anywhere? No. Can't remember. I honestly... Yeah, I don't watch his videos that much. I think he does great content, and I think it can be beneficial. But it's very goal-oriented. It's very... I don't know, like... There's tons of things I don't agree with. And there's tons of things that... Yeah, it just doesn't resonate with me. I don't think it's bad content. Wow, they're just doing a lot of shorts these days. Where are the videos? Wow. That's a lot of shorts. But... Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, no, I've watched a few. I watched an interview with Sean West. Okay, so Sean West is someone I really admire, that I look up to. He's kind of a mentor to me. And he was actually on... Wow, 11 days ago? No way. Man. He hasn't been uploading videos in like a year, so there's a new video. Really cool. Highly recommended. Sean is amazing. And he had an interview in the future, you know? And the host of this show just highly disagreed with a lot of things that Sean talks about resting and about taking time off from work and that kind of stuff. And I just don't know. I kind of felt like the future is this very workaholic mindset that I don't enjoy. But I do believe that there's tons of good advice. Maybe I just haven't dig deep enough. Yeah, I wouldn't discourage anyone from watching it. It's probably really good. It just doesn't resonate with me that much, to be honest. Sean, I do highly recommend. He's great. Especially for business and marketing and that kind of stuff, if you're into that. Cool. Awesome, guys. Okay, so I have to go record this video that we're talking about on books and stuff. So I gotta go do that. So I'm gonna have to cut this live stream quite short. Let me just end the poll just to show you the results. If you have any final questions, I'm happy to answer them. But yeah, let's just check out the poll. So like for the poll, I asked you how much do you read? So 41% of you said, I wish I read more. That is a winner. That's a majority. Most people say, I wish I read more. 23% people, which is the next one, is a lot. They read a lot, right? 17% of you say some and not much, you know, which honestly, now looking back, some and not much probably means the same. Maybe not much is less than some. But yeah, it's interesting how like the two opposites are the highest ranked ones, right? Like most people read a lot, and then most people wish they read more, and then the next end of the spectrum, which is the second option, is people that read a lot. So that's interesting. It seems like an all or nothing situation, and for me it's definitely like that. I either go through periods in my life where I don't read at all, or I read a lot. So yeah, that's interesting. I mean, disagreeing is where conversation can happen, and different people can have different answers. Yeah, definitely, I agree. I love disagreeing with people. Thank you, Corinne. I hope you also have a good day. Thank you for the stream, Santi. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. Really appreciate it. Again, you can check the link in the description for the future live streams. Last time I did kind of a bad job. Scene 2. I did a bad job at updating this, but now if you go to santiyounger.com/livestream, you can see when is the next time that I'm gonna stream, and here's a countdown. I just did a bad job at updating the countdown, so that was a bit broken for last week, but I'll do better. So there you go, check it out. Oh, final question. Cool. People may be reading too little for knowledge or reading a lot, but not putting what they learn into action. Yeah, I get you. Yeah, putting things into action is definitely the most useful part of reading, and I highly encourage it. Cool. Thanks guys for the feedback. I'll definitely be putting all of these in the video that I'll be uploading on Friday. Really appreciate all of your thoughts. Brother Center Chat, thanks for the stream. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it, and I hope to see you next week. Bye. See you guys. Have a good day. I closed the tab where I end the stream, so let me just go get it. So embarrassing. Okay, it should be here. Okay, for real now. See you. Bye.